Hi everybody, welcome to today's webinar. We'll be covering the journal section of Prima, and for those of you who don't know, who won't recognise my voice even, it's Ollie, and I'll be taking today's session in Steve's absence. Okay, if you have any questions whilst I'm going through anything, Joseph's on the live chat of the YouTube, so head over to there if you've got any questions meanwhile. Okay, so in the session today we'll just be covering journals in Prima and how you can set callback reminders, chase quotes for example, and the general logistics behind it. I'll also be briefly covering the dashboard as to how to set this up specific to each user, so you can see how it appears on your dashboard and everything, and it can be designed per user as well. Okay, so I'll switch on to my screen. Okay, so I've set the dashboard up to show the tasks at the moment, so if I just quickly organise tiles, so it'll be a case of if you've got nothing set up in your dashboard currently, organise tiles in your bottom left. You've got your list of all your configurations in there. So first one is tasks, so I've put a priority order of 1 against it because I want that to be the first tile on the dashboard, and then I want to put it on showing the dashboard, and if there's no tasks available I still want it to show that there's no tasks available to do. Once happy with that, if you just save and close it, and that'll update then. So at the moment I've got 3,000 plus tasks, so that'll be taking into account absolutely everything that's in the Prima database. So if I want to configure those tasks to be specific to myself, I want to double click into there and update. Okay, so you'll see plenty of tasks. So the tasks will include the likes of catalog imports if there's been any errors or anything, any updates to sales orders such as authorising or company changes, updates to locations or anything like that. So what we want to do is we want to set a search criteria to whittle down exactly what we want to see on our dashboard. So you can do it by company, by type and creation date, and then if you click on the coloured bar you've got further examples of what you can do. So say for example the type okay, so the journal entry would be the likes of the sales order authorization, location updates, anything like that. The system entry, that would be the likes of any errors such as catalog import, and if there's been a problem, what's the problem, you can go into your journal and find that out. And then also a user entry, so the user entry would be what we're going to base our session around today. So this is just users going in there, setting journals up against companies or sales orders or anything, and then getting that to show on your dashboard. So if I take the user entry here, and then we want to put a journal owner against it. So the owner would be regardless of who's created the journal. So I may create a journal for Joe, so I want to be seeing Joe's journals rather than who's created it. So if I select from the drop down as Ollie, okay, you can also sort by category as well, so the likes of your callbacks, your chasing, your quotes and stuff, you can have that specifically set up for yourselves as well. So when we go through setting up the journals, or creating a journal even, you can actually add stuff onto here. So this is just generically what's in your system. You can add whatever you want in there as well. Okay, so if I do a start date for example of a fixed period, and the period to be this week, so you can have it as a monthly task, or daily if you wanted to. Okay, so if I click the big search now, that should show me all tasks that are available against Oliver for this week. So if I want to save that against my dashboard, it'd be a case of on this little page icon here, so if I just close this down a bit, right clicking on there and save edit filter values. So this is what's going to show on your dashboard now. The name, now this will be showing on your dashboard too, so if you wanted it to say Ollie's tasks, or just tasks, whatever you want to call it, you can call that. So if I just call it Ollie's tasks, and then when I OK that then saves your dashboard to show everything that's in this search criteria here. Okay, if I just put that back on the full screen. So if I go back to the dashboard, see how that works. So we can see Ollie's tasks, one set, so when I click into that straight away, the search filters that I've set will be in there. So Okay, what I'll do first of all, I'll go through setting a journal against a company. Then I'll go into the sales side, and you can set it in virtually any area of Prima. And then this is the generic view of where everything shows. So you can set up your dashboard to be specific to yourself, but if you wanted to go in here and check on other staff or anyone else's tasks that may be off sick or something or on holiday, you can come into here and just double check there's nothing outstanding. Okay, so if I just go into the company lookup and search for a company, okay, so if we use Athlone Town, okay, so we've got the journal section here. So if we click into the journal, and we've got the user generated. So say for example the contact at Athlone Town isn't available today, you want to call them back next week. So if I click here to create a new record, I can put the subject of callback, put some info in there such as number if you want to, if it's not against a contact, or email address, or reasons as to why you call him on this date, ask him about his holiday for example, you know, anything that you want to personalise. So if I just put test in there, you can type away. I put the owner against myself because I want it to go against my jobs. I put a start date, so this is now what you've got set in the journal. So say for example you wanted it to be next week, you want it to be starting on Monday. You can put an end date against the journal, or you can leave it to carry on running through until you come in and physically complete that. So in the category as well, if it is a callback, we've got likes of comment, general, holiday, personal, whatever. We can add an item into there and say this is going to be a callback. So that's then stored for next time as well. Okay, we can also put a contact against it. So if I go into here, so I can put it against Kane Healy. His email address was stored in there as well, if you can see, and his phone number would pull through also if it was inputted. Okay, and if I just click save on that, that saves the journal against that company. So if I just close out of that, close out my company, refresh that, it's next week. 1 second. If I change that to be next week, but you would have it as this week because you want to see it the week after. There you go, and there's the task. So if I want to see that task or view the journal and stuff, if I double click in, you can then see the date on it and everything, the category, status and everything against it. What you can do, you can jump to the module, so that'll bring up the company, or you can go straight into the company journal as well. So the company journal, if you create a journal against a sales order, that journal will also log against the company as well. So where I've just logged that journal then, if you put a log against chasing a sales quote, that will show alongside it as well. So if I just do jump to company journal, and there's my task. So if I complete that, that's then removed off my task list for the dashboard and everything else in my journal. So if I just click save, that's then completed. Okay, so if I just close out of that, go back to my journals, start date next week, searching for outstanding, and that's done. So if you've completed a task and you don't know which company it's against, for example, and you want to find out what you've done and what you've been doing, kind of thing, so you can go into the more search criteria, search on a status of completed. You can amend your dates to be, I want to see what I done in July. Search in there, and we can see I called back X, Y, and Z. Okay, so if I close out of that, dashboard's still looking at my task for this week. Okay, so this one that I set up earlier, this one's just chasing a quote in sales quote. So if I click into that, okay, so I've just put some info into there, so I can jump to the module. It'll take me straight into the journal. So we've got the sales quotes, go to journal, find the user generated one, and there's all the information into there as well. So if I've contacted Dave and I've chased a quote, I can again go in there, complete it, click save, that's the job done. Close out of that. Complete the quote and everything if you need to. If I go back to my dashboard, there's nothing left to do now. So setting up a journal in the quotes or the orders or invoicing or any other area of Prima would be the same as we just done in the company. So if I open up SOP and quotes, for example, okay, and if we use MicStation, that's the same one as we just used then, but okay, so we want to chase this particular quote. We want to go into the journal. There's the quote from previous, so we click in the bottom section, click new, and enter your information again. So against Oliver, the category, what it's going to be. So I'll just put it to comment or general or something. So you can put in there chasing or something personalised to yourselves. Whatever you save in here when you add item, that will always store for the next time as well. So just bear that in mind. Okay, I want the start date to be next week, and then if I just put chase quote info into there, whatever you want to put it, and then if I click save, then that'll then show in next week's task. So if I went to the dashboard, it'd still be 0 because it's next week's. But if I wanted to see next week's, even though I've got nothing left for this week, you can go general into journals, enter your search criteria. So Oliver, user entry with a start date of fixed period and next week, and then I can see I've got a call back next week and I need to chase a quote as well. So if you wanted to show that on your dashboard, it'd just be a case of next week when you come in the office, when you log into Prima, you'll have a number 2 there as you've got 2 tasks in your search criteria. Okay. So again, I'll just recover what I've just gone through, just to make it a bit more clear. There's quite a lot you can do with the journals in terms of how you want to use it. The likes of chasing quotes, logging holidays against users and stuff. Anything that can be used by yourselves, specific with journals, can be done. So, say for example, I wanted to log a journal against an invoice. Just in case, going invoicing and sales invoices, finding your invoice. So it can be a completed one as well. Doesn't have to be outstanding. So if I go into here and say outstanding invoice, so what could I put against it? So contact customer to discuss price or something. Okay, I can put that against my accounts lady if I want to or something, but if I just put it against myself for training, with the start date this week, the category being perhaps someone's on holiday or something, or just put it against journal. You can put in some contact information, so instead of having to go back to the company and finding out the contact's phone number and stuff, you can just copy and paste it into there. Okay, if I save that, so I can do Control S on my keyboard, or I can do save at the top there. Close out all them. Okay, so there's my task, and that's the one that I've just set up now for this week. So it would be on a weekly basis, or you can have it daily if you wanted to as well. So plenty of things you can do. Okay, Joseph's just telling me that we've had. Sorry, 1 second. Oh, sorry. Someone's asked how we can add a category in there. So to add a category in against the journals, so say for example, I can either double click this journal I've got here, or I can create a new one, for example. So if I just go through creating a new one from the beginning again. Into the journal. Okay, so when I create a new record, we've got the category here. So say for example you did want to create a callback, you wanted to create something different. In the bottom section here you've got add item. So when I click on add item, that's then when you'd add your new value. So the likes of the callback or something that's not existed on that list, then that would be how you show new ones. Okay. So I'll just set up another journal just for training. Give it a test and then can save that. So 2 tasks for this week, can go into it. I want to see the invoice one first. So you can see it's come from the sales invoice module. And again, in all areas of Prima, you can drag and drop columns to be specific to each user. So say for example, I don't need to know the activity ID. I can drag and drop that to be right at the end over there. And I can pull through who it's been created by, because I want to know who's put a task against my name. And then once you're happy, right click, save settings. That's then stored for the next time you come into this area of Prima. Okay, if I click into this journal, again, jump to the module, will take you to the invoice. So say for example if it was a sales quote journal, it'd take you to the sales quote header so you can see all the pricing and everything and all your information, and then you'd need to go to journal. Or if you click jump to company journal, that'd take you into the company record, which even though you've logged the journal against the invoice, it'd also log against the company record also. So if I do jump to company journal, pulls up the company details and everything that I've logged against this customer. If I'm happy with completing it within the company, I can do, or if I close out of that, I can go to the jump to the module, which will take me straight into my invoice. I can view all my pricing, discuss with the customer, go into your journal, happy with that, save, and done. So that's then a completed task and journal in Prima. Okay, that's pretty much everything that I wanted to cover in today's session for the journals. I hope it's proved beneficial for you all in some shape or form. If you have got any questions meanwhile, I'll just cover over the Twitter page and subscribing to the YouTube page. If you want to hop on the live chat at the bottom of the YouTube with Joseph and ask any questions, I can perhaps cover them over this now while I'm rambling on basically. Okay, so each week now with the webinars, we'll be placing a Twitter poll. So say for example, we've not actually discussed what we can put on there, so it could be either users come onto our Twitter and vote for catalog importing over the purchase order processing. So we're going to do a weekly poll. It'll be announced at the end of each Friday, and the poll will be put on each Friday as well after this session as to what you can vote for as well. So we're trying to really emphasise on the Prima Help Twitter and getting customers to use it and seeing the tips that we're putting on there daily for you as well. So we'll probably reveal the session around 4:30. We'll put the poll on shortly after this session, so if you want to go on there and give us a follow and vote on the poll, that'd be great. Joe will put the Prima Help Twitter URL in the live chat as well, so if you want to navigate through to that, you can do. So yeah, basically if you've got any questions, speak on the live chat. I'll just mute the microphone just for a moment while Joe takes any questions, and then perhaps we can just do another 5 minutes of covering something that, you know, someone's not quite listened. I've not explained it great. So if you want to ask any questions, please do go ahead. So I'll just mute the mic now, and I'll speak again in a couple of minutes.